Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I guess today we're really putting the gon in Polygon. I know, very clever, right? But hold your applause. Because allow me to show you why I'm saying that. That takes us over to Twitter. You can see a layoff alert. Polygon Vox Media laid off an unspecified number of Polygon employees, including co-founder and editor-in-chief Chris Plant. As it sold the video game outlet to Valnet, the company has not disclosed the number affected. The layoffs coincided with ownership transfer. In other words, yeah, Polygon just got sold off and gutted. Now, as you probably know, Polygon is one of those outlets like Kotaku that is despised in gaming circles for good reason, writing a bunch of inflammatory, nonsensical articles and seemingly not even really liking the gaming community at all. For example, over at Polygon, they were notoriously trying to signal boost that disgraced article from IGN that was going after the devs of Black Myth Wukong, trying to call them like sexist, misogynistic, terrible people, you know, fill in the blank with whatever buzzword. We can see right here in this paragraph, Polygon had wrote, unlike other gaming awards, most categories in the golden joysticks are 100% determined by public vote. So Black Myth's win indicates just how activated its fan base is. The game's solid action gameplay and cutting-edge spectacular visuals have clearly won it broad support. There's also a culture war element to its popularity. Game science became politically controversial after IGN reported on the alleged misogyny of its leadership, which has rallied some conservative online culture warriors to the game's cause. And of course, in this context, conservative culture warriors is basically defined as anyone questioning the journalists and their extremely questionable evidence, I say with air quotes. Many people also refuting the article, saying that it was relying on mistranslations. And so games journalists are breaking down over this news, guys. They're saying it's horrifying what's happening to Polygon. It's horrifying. An article here from Kotaku actually being shared. And so we're going to read some of the tears from journalists about Polygon being sold off and gutted and these layoffs and all that stuff. Oh, but before we take a look at their tears and like read all of their crying and all that, you know, how they got laid off and everything, I do need to mention something really quick. So every single video, I'm still getting like 10 plus comments of people demanding feet pics. And to those of you demanding that, you can be satisfied once again, because this morning I was tagged on Twitter to this artist Vicentia who was commissioned by Neko Asumi, and the artist drew me showing feet. So yeah, I will link my VTuber Twitter account in the pinned comment of this video, and you can find it there. So yeah. You can be satisfied once again, and now we can move on, thankfully. Journalist Cecilia links to a Kotaku article titled Polygon sold to Valnet and hit with mass layoffs, to which Cecilia says, "This is absolutely horrifying. Horrifying. Scoop up these great reporters. More mainstream outlets would benefit from games industry coverage from experts." Yeah, apparently not. Y'all been getting laid off for years and somehow have made journalism, which is already one of the least respected professions in the world, to become an even less respected profession. News editors, this will be a huge year for gaming news. And you, this is so desperate sounding, dude. And you will want that traffic. You can't do better than Polygon's reporters. We're getting possibly the biggest console and game launches. Switch 2, GTA 6, Roblox, gangbuster growth, regulatory scrutiny, big stories. This graph from our story on how Google's AI overviews for search-impacted website businesses is pretty interesting. Google denied that the AI overviews rollout hurt web traffic. I mean, look, to be fair, if Polygon really did just stick to writing like actual gaming news and wasn't this like weirdo activist outlet as well, maybe they would have done better. But like, Cecilia here is just talking about like normal gaming news, but that's not what Polygon was doing. That's not what Kotaku does. Not what IGN does. Like they have this like weirdo, freakazoid, politically brain rotted activist slant, and that's gotten all of these outlets such disgraced reputations. Like people just avoid them. If anything, at times people share their articles via like archive links to laugh at them. But hey, great reporting by the way. Should definitely hire, right? Wink. I thought Asmund had a pretty funny reaction to this news. You know, it's basically showing these journalists. But let's be real, they'll never actually like do that. They'll probably just find somewhere else to write a bunch of slop articles. Oh, maybe they'll make like a GoFundMe. They'll somehow try and say that like gamers are harassing them and attacking them and they need a bunch of money. That like gamers got them fired or something. Yeah, that might happen. Some of the responses to Asmund. Games journalists hated us, hated every last one of us. It's why they chose the field they did. I was a game journalist. Just put the fries in the bag, bro. What are you doing? What the frick are you doing? Just shut up and put the fries in the bag. Total chud victory. Oh, by the way, remember that journalist Cecilia who we read posts from a few minutes ago? Well, here are the responses to Cecilia, and you can see basically everyone is laughing and or celebrating. Okay, now let's take a look at some of the actual journalists who got laid off and what they have to say. We've got this Julia person who was guides producer at Polygon, as you can see here. And Julia, guides producer at Polygon, says, well, I guess not at Polygon anymore, huh? But anyways, they say, just like my coworkers, I've been laid off from Polygon after it got sold and now gutted, I guess. Obs, if you need a guides writer who loves organization spreadsheets and comes with all her own equipment, let me know. Also, hire my coworkers too. Good luck with that. And the next one we've got is Cass Marshall, who, video game jester at Polygon. What does video game jester Cass Marshall at Polygon have to say? My time has finally come. I've been laid off from Polygon. I'm so grateful for the near decade I spent there. If you know of any remote writing opportunities in any industry, please reach out. And then we've got Nate Hull, who is apparently not at Polygon at all, but what do they say? Ugh, not only was most of the staff laid off, but they were sold to the game journalist industry's equivalent of Satan incarnate. I still remember the excitement I felt when I first came across Polygon in 2012. Now it will just be another soulless content mill husk. Yeah, okay, whatever, Nate. But here's an important question, guys. Is it incarnate or incarnate? I think it's incarnate, huh? I might have messed that up, my bad. And there's also this Alyssa journalist person who has worked at a lot of different outlets like Kotaku and Rolling Stone. And Alyssa says, with more game sites shuttering, you bet you're behind the reactionary YouTubers who do no research and have little to no moral standards will flood the internet with more trash. So we are cooked, chat. A journalist like this talking about moral standards? What a joke. Alyssa continued by saying, I'm in the middle of moving, but once I'm settled, I'll be starting a Discord of all unemployed / not full-time game journos. Let's see what we can create. Yeah, I'm sure that's gonna go well. Other responses include, gaming websites have been useless for years. I'd rather watch someone stream gameplay or condense their gameplay for a YouTube vid and it be from someone I like watching, rather than from a gaming news site full of people I don't like at all. With the news about GB and now Polygon, the landscape of gaming news just got dimmer. I wish the best for all those who were affected. Looks like I got more work to do then. Oh yeah, they're sending their best here. Oh, that guy's really mad. Look at this, he said. In response to Polygon sold off, fires almost everyone. Between market forces and the epic chud wins last year, gaming journalism is gone. This is a huge win. You're better off watching gameplay streamed and judging things for yourself. Source, Kotaku, which is probably next. Oh. And that other person whose tweet we just read says, these frickin' morons don't understand why this is bad. I've explained this before. Oh yeah, it's an authority right here on why we all need to worship gaming journalists. But you know what? Let's take a look at what he has to say a little bit. It's a 26-minute long video and it sounds really boring to watch the whole thing, but like, we'll take a brief look. TTBN Gaming's video, what if we actually got rid of games journalism? Which, for the record, I don't need 26 minutes to answer that question. I can answer it in probably 5 seconds or less. The answer is the world becomes a better place. Done. But let's see some of what this guy has to say.
Hi, it's me, your girlfriend, /boyfriend, /day friends, favorite content creator. And, you know, a lot of the times, people will talk about how mainstream media sucks and how they only get their information from independent sources, right? Or like for the gaming side of things, which is what we're about here, people will talk about how they hate the gaming sites, like they don't like IGN, GameSpot, Kotaku, Polygon, all the big boys, right? They hate them. They think they suck. They rely only on YouTubers. And so I had a thought, let's burn it all to the ground. Those sites don't exist anymore. What are we left with?
So first of all, you don't need to use YouTubers. You don't need to use their sites. You don't need to use anything. A lot of this news comes out from tweets that these companies make or press releases that they make. And those companies could just do more of that if they wanted to. Like, you don't need games journalists. You don't need YouTubers. But it's funny, this guy is trying to seemingly make the argument that like, oh, you shouldn't rely on independent channels. You should rely on the mainstream stuff. Like, bro, come on.
Legitimately, what are we left with? A lot of YouTubers, gaming YouTubers, do not break the news. They don't give you hands-on experiences. Not really. They don't bring things to your attention. things are already brought to your attention, and then they go and talk about it. I'm guilty of this. I've never broken any news. There are also some content creators who do get invited out, right, by these.
Oh wow, yeah, this is boring. Let's go to the conclusion.
But you get the point, right? Like it's very easy to be upset at games journalists because ever since the first Gamergate happened, it's just been something people could just easily do.
Are people upset or are they laughing at you guys though? Because like when we're taking a look at all the tweets whenever there's like layoffs, it's just like people laughing. So sure, some people are upset, but mainly people are just like apathetic or find you guys just hilariously terrible at your jobs. It's not like, oh, rawr, you know, whatever anger would sound like, I guess. Like, don't get me wrong. Sometimes there is definitely a reason to be upset at what these people do because they're very disingenuous and filled with hate and they constantly try and like smear the gaming community. But the framing where it seems like he's trying to make it seem like everyone's just upset at them is incorrect, in my opinion. It's largely, like I said, apathy or like mockery.
And it's, at some point, it's understandable. I get it. You feel like you're being lied to. You don't be lied to. But like I've said multiple times, and again, this is not a defense of like anyone particular, but if you look at it in the whole, you are being lied to more by YouTubers and random bloggers than you are by people who don't get.
He literally pulled a freaking Karina Paimon VA moment. Like, the YouTubers are lying to you guys. Hello? Why can't you see that? They would be best friends. Oh my gosh.
YouTubers don't know anything. Never been in my industry. They don't know what my industry is about. They don't know anything about SAG. They don't know anything about being a non-union actor either. Stop telling me to go to liars. Liars. They are paid to lie to you. Also, I'm sorry. They have more incentive to lie. They have more of an incentive to lie because idiots like you fall for their shit and they get paid for that. Hello?
They don't even realize they aren't even getting news. They are just getting confirmation bias thrown back at them.
Yeah, guys, don't you realize you're not even getting news? You're just getting confirmation bias. Like, why do you even watch? Why don't you stop watching my video and just go support Polygon, guys? They need you over there. Anyways, yeah, that was funny. Thank you for the video, TTBN. And thank you all for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed my coverage. If you did, please consider liking and or subscribing. Appreciate you. I'll see you in the comments and in the next one.